This is my current setup, and I know what you're thinking, Josh, how can you possibly have this janky of a setup when you used to have an epic gaming setup like this? Let me explain. So we've moved twice in the past year, and during that time I didn't really see much of a point in making a badass setup because I knew we were going to have to take it all down. However, we're going to be staying in our new place for the foreseeable future, and so it's about time I built a proper setup. Now, if you haven't already seen Nay's setup build, I'll put a link in the top right so you can go watch it, but my setup is going to be going over here on this opposite wall. Now, I'm very excited to get started. We've got everything we need to build the setup, so let's get into it right after this quick word from today's sponsor. This video is brought to you by bobkeys.com. You guys know the drill. You've just finished building your brand new PC, you boot it up, and bam, that hideous activate Windows watermark appears. And the worst part is you forgot to budget $200 for an activation key from Microsoft because you spent it all on RGB. But that's okay, because you don't need to spend $200, you can pick one up from today's video sponsor bobkeys.com for a tenth of the price. The best part is you can use my code TT25 for 25% off, which takes this already cheap Windows 10 Pro key from around $22 to $16. If you're in the UK, that's £13. You place your order, your activation code gets added to your orders page, you whack it into the Windows activation screen, and boom, you're fully activated. No more watermarks being burned into your retinas. TT25 for 25% off, link in description. Now, if you saw Nay's setup build, you'll have noticed we have since painted the wall black, and the reason we did this is because Nay has black wood panels in her setup. I'm going to be putting these black 3D panels in my setup, and we just felt like the whole room would flow a lot better if it was just all black. So we painted it last night. We're a little bit nervous because we've never painted a wall black before, but it actually turned out really good. And by the way, if you're wondering what the specific shade of black is, it's called Black Magic. Now, this is also going to be the first time I have built a black themed setup. In the past, I've always gone for white everything, but I wanted to change it up a bit this time. And also, I spend a good chunk of my time nowadays working and editing at my setup, so I wanted functionality to take a little bit more precedence this time around, which is why I've gone for a sit-stand desk. So Ergonoffice were awesome enough to send out their shift desk for this build. This is actually the same desk that Nay used in her setup, and it has a motorized sit-stand frame, so when I want to, I'll be able to raise it and do work standing up, which is actually gonna be perfect because the setup's in front of a window and I happen to have an awesome view of the mountains. In terms of colors, there's actually a range of combos to choose from. I went with the graphite worktop, just add a little bit of contrast with the black legs, and the surface of the desk is really nice as well. It's got like a soft velvet touch finish to it. By the way, Ergonoffice have discounts on this exact desk all November long, so if you want to pick one up, I'll have the link down below. Alright, so the desk is installed, looks freaking awesome. Let me show you guys. Now, the space we've got here is around 75 inches, so I went for the 72-inch version of the table, and I think it's going to be perfect because it's also a lot deeper than my previous desk. I have a lot of like accessories that I need to be able to fit on it, so that's going to be great. And you probably also saw underneath the desk the cable management solution. So this thing has a power strip attached to it, and it's great because I'll be able to plug everything on top of the desk into that one power strip, and then when I'm raising the desk up and down, I'm not going to have to worry about cables getting trapped because there's just one to worry about. Now, we also have a storage cabinet. Yeah, so this cabinet is also from Ergonoffice, and this is going to be great because I have a lot of things like batteries and SD cards and USB dongles that I need a place to store, so this should be the perfect size, and I feel like it matches the desk really well. And it also has locking casters as well, so it's not going to go anywhere. Oh, and this is the control panel, so you probably can't see this on camera because it's super bright, but this says the height in inches, so you can set it to the exact height that you want, and then you have 4 presets that you can save to. Moving on to decorating the space. Now, since the setup is going to be in front of a window, there's not really much I can do in terms of wall decorations behind the desk, but I do have the wall to the left of the setup and this vertical area just off to the right. Now, I picked up these 3D panels off of Amazon. I'll link them in the description if you want to pick them up. A lot of people ask how we stick these up on the wall. I'm literally just using double-sided tape. I found this one works the best. It's super strong but easy to remove when you need to. A couple of pieces along each edge of the panel seems to do the job. They're very light, so you really don't need to go crazy here. So desk is installed. We've got the 3D panels up on the wall. I have to say, I absolutely love how these things look. The reason I picked them is because I wanted to kind of uplight them to give like this really cool shadow effect, which I will demonstrate now by turning off the lights. Check it out. It looks sick. Also, thanks Nay for turning off the lights.
The next day.
So it is the next day. The panels actually look even better in the daytime, which is awesome. Now we need to start getting stuff installed onto the desk. I think we're going to start off with the monitors. Now I picked up this monitor stand. I'll link it in the description for you guys. But basically just clamps to your desk, and you can fit up to two 32-inch monitors on this. So yeah, this is going to be great because it means the monitors will move up and down with the desk. Now I decided to go for two 34-inch ultrawides in a stacked configuration. I've used a few monitor layouts over the years, but I find this is the most usable for productivity purposes. Now the stand feels great, it's super sturdy. The only slight problem is that it doesn't have like fine-tune adjustments around the back, so I can't choose the exact height that I want the second monitor, which is why it's kind of tucked behind this main one a little bit. I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem because when I'm sat down like this, I'm not going to be having like a taskbar or anything on the top, so yeah, I think it should be fine. Also, I was supposed to have matching ultrawides because I've got an MSI OLED on the bottom and I wanted the same monitor on the top, but it's not been in stock for a while, so I've got to wait for that to come back in stock and then we'll have matching monitors. But anyway, monitors looking good so far. Let's move on to the speakers. So for the speakers, I picked up the Adam Audio T5Vs. Now in the past, I've mainly used like gaming soundbars. The only problem is that gaming soundbars don't really sound that accurate. Yeah, these are studio monitors, so more similar to what you'd find in like a recording studio, and they're designed to sound super accurate, which is exactly what I want because like I said, this setup's going to be more productivity kind of themed, so I'm going to be doing a lot of editing here, maybe some music production, so I think these should be perfect. Now, I also picked up these speaker mounts. Again, these clamp to the desk, which is ideal for a sit-stand setup. They're also fully adjustable, so I can position them exactly where I want them. Speakers are in. It took a little bit of adjusting to get them to where I wanted them, but I think I'm happy with where they're at. By the way, if there's any audio engineers watching, let me know if this is a good position. The camera is pretty much at head height for me right now, so I had to look at a few diagrams online. I think they're roughly in the right place, but yeah, if you are knowledgeable about that kind of stuff, drop a comment. Next up is the desk riser. Now, this is actually the same riser that Nene used in her setup. We found it on Amazon, and it's super cool because it has two shelves. So once you push it under here, you've got basically space for all the stuff I use, like SD card readers and things like that, and you can hide cables underneath it. So yeah, this is going to be super handy. It's time to start putting everything onto the desk. Now, I'm going to go over all of this stuff in a lot more detail in our upcoming final setup tour, but I'll link everything down below in case you see anything you like. One thing I really wanted to make sure of in this setup is that everything I use on a daily basis is easily accessible to maximize my workflow. I'll also be doing voiceovers at this setup as well, so a mic upgrade was in order, and in fact, what you're listening to right now is the new mic, so let me know how it sounds. It's time for the PC. Now, this PC you may recognize, we built this, me and Nay, about 6 months ago, so it's fully custom water cooled, and yeah, this should look pretty awesome in the setup because it's going to add a little pop of color. What do we think? Dude, that looks sick. Now, you may remember me earlier talking about this wall. It just seems like the perfect spot to add a little bit of RGB to spice up the space, and to do that, we're going to be using these things. Now, these look exactly like Nanoleaf lines, but they're way cheaper. I think Nanoleaf lines are $200 for a 9-pack. These are only $89, so it's like literally less than half the price. But yeah, you get the same amount of bars. They've got app control, they support Amazon Echo, Google Assistant, and how they work is you basically just take each of the bars, you grab one of these connector pieces, and you just snap them in. And then once you've decided on a design, you've got double-sided tape on the back, so you can just easily stick them up on the wall. Super cool. I'll drop a link in the description if you want to check them out. Now make sure you download the app, because with this you unlock some of the more advanced effects. These things are individually addressable, so you're not just limited to one color. You can have gradient effects across the lines. And yeah, as you can see, they look absolutely awesome and finish off the space really nicely. If you're looking for a cheap way to add some RGB setup, you should definitely check these things out. Anyway, I think all that's left is to just get everything plugged in on the desk and do the cable management, so I'll go and do that, and I'll see you guys when it's done. So here's a nice little before and after of the cable management. It was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be. I think it only took about 20 minutes. I have to say, guys, the cable management solution on this desk is absolutely next level. I was able to tuck all of the cables up in this little cubby hole right here, and the best part is that everything is plugged into the power strip underneath the desk, and the only cable that comes off of the desk is this one right here, which provides power to the power strip. It's in this cable spine, so it's all super neat, and then I don't have to worry about the length of any cables when I raise the desk up and down. Oh, and also these cables over here are the ones that are going to be going into the PC. With the cable management done and the desk put back into place, it was finally time to add the chair, and with that last step, the setup was complete. Here's the final result. that'll do it for this one. I hope you all enjoyed watching the build process of the new setup, and definitely let me know what you think to it down below in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I know it's a little bit different to what I've had before, but like I said, I wanted something a little bit more productivity based this time around because I do a lot of work at my setup. But anyway, we're going to be doing full tours of both of the gaming setups here in the coming weeks, so make sure you get yourself subscribed if you haven't already. Drop a like on this video if you enjoyed, and we'll catch you all in the next one.